Hey everyone, welcome to another stream. Gonna get straight to it. I'm quite focused on trying to make things work, so we're going to work on this review widget. We're gonna make sure that we have something that allows people to see all the reviews and then also maybe to add their own as well. So, yeah. In the meantime, tell me how you're doing, and happy weekend, everyone. And if you're in Pakistan or India and you're observing Ramadan, are you excited? We got to know that our Ramadan is starting from um from Monday. So hopefully it's gonna go nice. I'm super excited for it. Okay, so for the review widget, let's see. Okay, so we get the attendee, there's no attendee, then we remove the person from here, but I don't think we should. We should still have a session. If we don't have attendee, we should remove it, but we shouldn't be saying if not session, then we return. This makes much more sense. Save attendee to storage, no need. When we do get or create attendee, I think okay, then we can do that. So here, but here then we know that the attendee is gonna exist. Oh no, actually no, this should actually be here, and then we should have else, and then we can move that right here. And okay, so should there be a case where we don't have an attendee? Yeah, and here so we got trace responses, rating responses, and rating responses are right here. Oh, but these are setting the values in here. Yeah, this all of this needs to be commented out from here to here. We don't need any of those at all. Attendee response, do we need to check that? I don't think so. I think we need to find if we have I think we need to find if the attendee has a response. So for example, if not wait a second, if not session, then return. I think that should still be there. If no attendee, should also return, and then we can I'm gonna probably run in a minute. We'll see. Okay, so if not attendee, then we set it. If we have an attendee, then we set that to our signal. Then what we can do is we can find the attendee response. So here we can check const attendee response is gonna be this dot responses dot find, and here we should check resp.attendee.id equals id, and we should rather do a find index. Then what we can do is we can take out the index. So here if not, or if attendee response index is less than 0, we do return. If not, then we should do two things. We can say we do have the toSliced method, I think, that we can use. So we can say or const responses without attendee response equals this dot responses to slice. No, but the responses is actually the responses should be an array, right? Exactly. So here, why don't we have the toSliced etc here? That's interesting. Interesting. Okay, but if we rather use a splice, yeah. So here then we can actually say attendee response instead, and here we can go with attendee response index and 1, and then Saad Fazal says, Assalamu alaikum brother, how are you doing? Wa alaikum salam, I'm good. How are you doing, Saad? You good? Then what we can do is but when we do splice, it actually changes the current array as well. I'm thinking of a good way of doing this. If I do a splice on the response, this would actually update the initial one, right? Or it would at least try, but it wouldn't actually matter. I think. Or I could do a copy instead. So here, let's do this actually. Let's do const clone equals this dot responses. So we do a clone. Then we run this on the responses clone. Okay. Then we do, or we can, I mean, we can do either concatenation or this, but let's make this a let RSP clone equals, I'm just moving this to the top, and clone. This should be just one, and then we can do this dot responses dot set RSP clone. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing great. Awesome. What are you doing late at night? Okay, so this should then set everything. but it has not. Let me see why. If we have a session, then we do this. But this is the review widget component, right? Yeah. So if I have a look at the review widget component, it should be right here. Let's see. So we come here, we get the session, right? Then we get the session.responses. I don't know why we only get 2 responses. We should have a response now. To CA responses, and the second one 7A7. I don't know why I only have one of those. I think there's something with the backend request that I've put. So here you see 3 responses, right? But there we only see 2. So here too fast, myself as an attendee, and here it says pace has 4 responses. So ideally there should be 4 responses, but I only get 2. Why? I think that's probably because of something I'm doing with the backend. Let's see. And let's also remove the console log there as well. Was creating an app on Shopify these days. I'm building an app on Shopify platform. My job, Shopify focus these days. Awesome. That sounds good. Sounds good. Is there a huge market of Shopify even today? I see a lot of job posts about Shopify. I mean, our businesses is still investing quite a lot on Shopify websites. Is that still the case? I'm also going to change this a bit. Let's move this session, and then I'm going to use A4. So let's do a response of responses track response.id question dot question.id should be unique, I think. Or let's do index for now, and then I can actually remove all of this. Antonio Jr., Brazil. Ooh, how's it going? On LinkedIn, yes, both on LinkedIn and on Upwork as well. I see a lot of opportunities. We come back. Sorry for my editing being really slow. I think I mentioned to some of those, or some of you at least, that I'm using Vim, so that is making me a bit slow because I'm learning it as we talk today. So V and X and O P VXP. There we go. V, and there we go. Looks nice. So here we still should see the same thing. Good. Okay, what was I doing? Yeah, my backend doesn't return me the right data. So let's see. So here we have the XHRs. This one brings the sessions, brings 3 different questions, but it does bring the responses as only 2 responses. I need to see why. So I'm gonna stop the server. I'm gonna run npm run front end only, and then we can run the backend towards the other side. Saad says, yes, mostly big stores use these apps and that help them to reduce their time. I'm pretty new to the Shopify thing, so I'm thinking I just want to be known as a Shopify. It's a good choice. What do you think? So the thing is, you should think of yourself as a developer, and the problem is we usually try to get stuck to tools quite a lot, which I don't think we should. So focus more on what kind of problems you're solving. If you can do that with Shopify, you can do that with other tools as well. So yeah, focus on yourself becoming a software developer rather than a Shopify expert, because as long as you stick to one platform or tool, it's gonna hurt you in the long run. So it doesn't matter if you're working on Shopify. If you're happy, if you're becoming an expert in that, perfect, no problem at all. When you learn more things, for example, if you become great at core JavaScript, then I think you would have more opportunities. That is something that you could definitely strive for, but I think don't worry about that for now. Just do what you're doing right now. So keep your focus on growth as much as possible. Sal says, bro, I'm a student fresher doing IT. Which languages should I learn if I go for web developer? You should focus. Sahil was the name, right? Sahil, you should focus on JavaScript, HTML, and CSS as much as possible. What is this? Monday. Okay, I don't know what this is. But focus on HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And you can also look into my course as well, which is free. Which is this one, Web Development Basics in Urdu and Hindi. So you can definitely look into this one. It's a very detailed, very thorough course that covers HTML5, a lot of things, including that CSS3, a bit of advanced CSS, like for example CSS variables, transforms, animations, and whatnot. So look into this course. I'm gonna share this in the chat. Nova says, hi, I'm 18 now. I want to become a game UI UX designer. How can I start? I'm hoping to study it as a professional course. That's great, Nova. I'm not a designer myself, but I know that there are different ways to do this, and especially when it comes to game UI UX designing, I think you're going to be working with quite a lot of tools uh, that have a very thin border between the game programming and the design. Because I know, for example, I know a lot of people who are using the Unreal Engine and Unity for just designing, and they create art, digital art, using those platforms. So Unity, Unreal Engine, those are the kind of things that you're going to look into. But I think Unity is a really good tool to get started with. So I don't think I'm the best person or qualified enough to guide you into game development, but I can definitely say that Unity is one of the most popular things that people usually do for game dev, especially when it comes to 3D modeling, 3D game programming. So you can look into that for sure. And apart from that, I think you can look. I think right now even Coursera or Udemy are the best places. So if you can find some good courses that are up to date, I think it's it's the best choice, unless you have uh, uh, for a lot of people it's also different because of how they learn. A lot of people want to be in an environment, want to be in an institute, for example, when they learn things. So try to find if you can work with just a course. You might also find something on YouTube. You never know. But I've never looked at it, so I'm not really sure which channels to recommend. But I know Coursera or Udemy have really good courses that can provide a lot of insight and expertise. So look into that. Just bear in mind that one of the things that you will face for sure is that you'll have to give it time. So I, being a very senior engineer now with 10 years in the software industry, I've established this mindset that whatever I'm doing is going to take time. So I take everything slow. I don't rush things. I don't get bored or pissed off if I'm not making progress. I keep things very, very slow. So I hope that helps to some extent. What was I going to do? I was trying to debug and serve BE, so I can debug that. Let's debug it. And those of you who don't know, if you're working with Node.js as a backend, and even I think other platforms as well, you can actually run and debug from this menu. This really helps. This really helps identifying a lot of things. So I'm gonna try to see if I can find my backend, and the call I'm looking at should be sessions, and inside the sessions we should have one that is getting the responses. Let's see, session service, join session. No, it's not that one. Why is everything so much highlighted? I have no clue. Why is, I don't know, why is everything so highlighted? I'm gonna look at the chat as well. Just give me 1 second. Find my pin. Join session update. I think the one that I usually get when I'm in the review widget. Let's have a look at that together, but I'm gonna look at the chat first. Muhammad Jareer says CSS has a lot of depth, isn't it? Doesn't everything have a lot of depth? So when you're learning, there's always going to be something that you don't really know, or you can't really say that I've done this whole thing or I've learned. Even HTML, nobody can claim that they know all the things about HTML or web APIs. There's so many things. For example, even in HTML, semantic HTMLs, the correct kind of input types, um, how do you structure your code, how to use proper semantic elements so SEO becomes good, attributes that are supported throughout. For example, a lot of people don't really know that they can use multiple images for rendering on different screens. Same goes for video. We have source sets that we can use to provide different sort of videos based on the width and height of your screen. So there's so many things that come whenever you're learning anything at all. So the goal should not be to finish something. The goal should be to learn as much as possible without thinking or without focusing on the point that no, I need to finish this or I need to learn it all. That's I personally think that's a really wrong approach. I usually go with one thing at a day and keeping everything slow, because everything takes time. The consistency and the repetition is something that will take you forward. Not spending, if you spend like 18 hours a day for a week, it's not gonna teach you as compared to if you spend 1 hour for 2 months, and you're gonna learn a lot and you'll keep that in your head as well. Sahil Hussain says, can you tell me in the order and wisely? What, did I miss something? Okay. The order, I think, just start with creating web applications. When you're learning something, try to implement it, because it also keeps you motivated. If you're reading books and books for months but you're not implementing or coding anything, you're going to get bored. So what I try to do is, whenever I'm learning something new, I implement that in one of my projects. For example, this is a project I'm doing on the side. Nobody's paying me for this, but I'm learning a lot of technologies and a lot of things while I'm working on this. So you don't need to know everything before implementing on a project. You learn while you're implementing the project or while you're creating the project, because experience is essentially getting stuck into problems and then solving those. If you never get stuck into problems or you're scared of that, then you're not going to learn. Nova says the problem in India after 12th grade we need a degree. I don't know about your in your country, so should I go with a UI UX designing course or game designing development course? If you go with game design and development, then you have a very niche sort of yeah, you have a very niche area in this case. So your opportunities might be a bit limited, not too limited. I mean, game industry is huge and you can do a lot of with that as well. If you go with designing, then I think you have a wide range of opportunities. So I would say try to look into the possible jobs that people do and what do they say. Try to look on YouTube like how happy game developers are, based on countries as well. Especially since you are from India, look into how people in India are doing with game dev. So because the reality is that it doesn't matter what you like, you would have to, if you have bills to pay, then you have to choose what works in your area. So look into that. But in I'm from Pakistan, and in Pakistan as well, after 12th grade you need to have a university degree. So I got mine in bachelor's in computer science. Sahil says, bro, what if I go for a UI UX designer? What should I learn? If you go for a UI UX designer, that's a whole different field. Then you need to learn tools like Figma, Zeppelin. You need to learn design systems. You need to look into different things. For example, Metro design, Windows, for example. So this is the Metro. If you look at why it was abandoned, that's sad. But Metro UI was the design that was built for Windows. I think they changed it quite a lot now. This was also the design for Windows phones as well. Compared to if you look at material design, you're gonna find a lot of different things in here, and you'll also see how much research was done for material designs. Like what are yeah, how did they pick shadows? Why is this, for example, how much curved this is and why this way, why not sharp corners. So there are so many things that you can look into when it comes to their whole research. So you need to know those. Then you also need to learn about web design. You need to look into, for example, how much spacing do you have. A lot of front end developers actually miss these when they're working on certain stuff. For example, if I open this one, you need to ensure that the gap we have here is a particular number that is sort of synced across. The height of this input would probably match the height of this button, right? Similarly, you need to make sure the gap on the left, let me turn on my mouse highlight so it's visible. So the gap on the left is equal to the gap on the right. How much spacing do we have when we are on a mobile, right? Should these be rounded or not? If the input is rounded, should the chip be rounded as well? And should they both be the same one? Similarly, should the button be also rounded the same way or not? So those are the kind of things that you're gonna look into, and different variations of it takes a lot of time. But yeah, you can become a really good UI UX designer, and I think there is still a demand for UI UX developers or UI UX designer. It's not as much as how you have for developers, because for example, if you have a team, for example, in Sweden, when I came to Sweden in Stockholm and I joined this team called Klarna, we usually had a team of 8 people or 8 to 10 people at max. And out of those 8, there would be one UI UX designer, right? And then the rest would be developers. Now, in some companies, UI UX designers have even higher salaries than developers, because yeah, you only have one and then you have 8 developers. So it is in some companies that's how it works, but in some companies they are paid less than developers. It really depends on your skill level as well, and I think the how the company sees them. um but it's a great field. If you can be really good at it, then yeah, it's good. Nova says, thank you, no problem. Saad Fazil says, Pulse Checker. Yeah, Pulse Checker is an app that I'm building, and it allows you to give feedback on sessions, on different things. So this is a product that I'm building for fun. For example, this is a way of me giving feedback to a session. Test meetup. There was a meetup. How did you like the meetup? Blah blah blah. And then if you're giving workshops or talks or conference talks, you can say good pace, too slow, too fast, blah blah blah. So, anyways, so this is the feedback, and this is what we have right here, right? So here I should actually get more responses, because here you'll see that we have 4 responses for test 1 to 3. Here we have a bug, we have 2 for some reason, I'm not sure why. So we're going to debug that and see if we can fix that. Mohammed Jarir says, why are you not using VS Code? I'm actually using VS Code. What do you mean? This is VS Code. I'm using VS Code, but I'm also using Vim in VS Code, if that makes sense. So session service, which API call do we do here? We call the by pin and then with responses. So it should be actually here. You should be able to see by pin. Yeah. Can't find it. So here we should have find by ID, by pin. Yeah, and here we can say find by pin. Oops. That was the wrong key, of course. GD. There we go. That is go to definition. Okay, so here's what we do. We try to say find the session by pin and then include 2 participants. I want to put a breakpoint right here. See what happens then. How do we quit Vim? Tell me when you know it. But why does it not come here? Why does it not come here? Find by pin. Do I have to restart it? Let's see if I need to restart it. Debugger attached. Let's see. It doesn't stop there. Why? Do I have this running somewhere else as well? No, I don't. What is this at? Why does this not stop there? Why does this not stop? The debugger is attached to what? To what? Maybe the problem is, maybe I'm the problem. I'm always the problem. Serve BE. What are you doing, mister? I'm running npm run serve BE. I think this should work. We could also attach to an existing running, but we'll see. Where did you start your IT career? I started my career in a company called Colwiz, or now it's called Wisdom.ai. It was previously called as CallWiz, Collective Wisdom. Welcome to callwiz.com. Callwiz has combined with Wisdom AI to become your intelligent something something. Did they redirect while I was reading? Or when I click, will they take you directly? Why? I was reading. That's not good. But I worked there for about a year. That was my first company. Wisdom.ai is for sale. What? Oh, it's not that one. It's a different one. Come back. Okay, so debugger is listening right here. Okay, so if I go to this, page. I'm gonna look at that. Debugging Node.js. I think when I started with inspect, so and inspect the client's personnel and specify host. But I think you could actually do this. If I go and inspect, there should be something as Node.js inspect. There was something that you could do. Performance insights, Node. There was something with Node.j. No. Inspect. Inspect. Wait a minute. Nah. If I go here, does it do anything? No. Okay. Let's read the documentation. I think that's good. That's a good thing. Sam code. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you doing, Sam? By default, this binds to this, then local applications, application clients, Chrome DevTools 55 plus. Option 1, open Chrome inspect. That's what we can do. Thank you. Then open dedicated DevTools for Node. Ooh, look at that. This was opened. And can I go to sources? Session.controller? No? Okay, maybe read more. Copy the DevTools front-end URL from the output of JSON list. See above inspect. But I copied the URL, right? It was this? No, it was not this. It was actually here. That's the one. So we copy this. Then what do? Hey, come back. The Node.js site crashed with a 500. It's not good. Okay, then what do? Option 1, open this. Click the configure button and ensure your target host and port are listed. Configure button. And is it 92229? Yeah, 9229 is the one. 9229. That's the one. Done. Is that right? Okay. Then what do? Then what do we do? Is that it? I'm super confused. Okay, where is my session controller? Find ID by pin. This is what I want, right? If I go here and refresh, does it stop? No. If I open this again, does it? No. What am I missing? Am I stupid? Discover network targets. Configure. Specify host and port. Okay, done. But I haven't actually started it with inspect, to be honest. How did... Okay, let's do it this way. So we ran this. Let's do with inspect. Ideally, it should actually run properly when we do that. So if I look at remote target, I don't see it at the moment. Network targets, this one. So target discovery settings, this is available. So if I try to go to any particular page, I should be able to see that, right? Record sources, XHR overrides. I don't want to do that. I'm super confused. Okay, so let's stop this one, stop this madness, and see if this one works. So NX executor, npx CLI, blah blah blah. Never knew this even exists. Node inspector, nice. Yeah, I have had issues with this on how reliable this is, to be honest. Debugger attached, it says, but when I run this, it doesn't seem to actually register anything at all. For example, if I go to main TS, this is the code that should run 100% of the time. If I reload this, it should come here. If it doesn't, then it's not working. So see, it doesn't say anything at all. Compiled successfully, blah, blah, blah. If I refresh this, it doesn't go there. So I'm thinking it doesn't work at all. Why do I have some errors right here? Webpack server, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But I don't want to do console logs in that matter. Okay, let's try to do one thing that I was trying to do initially, but then we got distracted. We'll see. Adil is laughing. Are you happy? Are you happy looking at my failures, Adil? Is that funny? Is that funny, Adil? Okay, let's have a look at this. So if I can say add a configuration, or we can say attach to process. Exactly. Why, Adil? What did I do to you? If I say attach process by ID, pick the process. Ooh, that's very easy to pick. Not at all. 9229. I think this is the one that I can probably pick, but there's so many. Maybe now this will work. So do I have breakpoints already? I think I had, right? Nah, doesn't work. Disconnect, shift, disconnect. This one says it should be on this URL. And if I do process ID, does it tell me with the ID? No. If I do localhost 9299, that's the one. Call stack attached by process ID. Ta ta ta. Come on, how long is it gonna take? That's okay. Then I'll defer to my initial plan then. Okay, so we need to see session.participants. So let's have a look at that. So we'll do, now I'm gonna be a console log developer. Participants, session.participants. Okay, let's have a look. So if I refresh this now, okay, how many participants do we get? We got anonymous user 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them, right? Is any one of them anyone who has, so this one has done 2 responses, this one has done no responses at all. Oh, now I know why. The participants actually are bound to the session when they give a session. But then well, when you create an attendee, then shouldn't it be part of the that makes sense. Now I'm thinking how to fix that. Or is it even worth it to see how many people have given the feedback or participants? Okay, so first of all, I should go towards the other side. So no participants in this case. What we would want to do is, when we have parameters, we should get questions. Yes, we should then get all the responses of those questions, but we want to group them by attendees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually copy this and ask our friend ChatGPT to see how to do that. So here we have this guy. So considering the following parameters for a Prisma query. No, actually, let's move that here. So considering a patch, let's close that. Considering a request for Prisma query as follows. Come on. Oh, I did a yank. The yank doesn't work outside of Vim. Change this to instead get questions and then all the responses, but group the responses by attendees. Okay. Or say, I think I can already say that you have the schema. The schema already. Adil says, I'm happy to see you doing good stuff for the dev community. Thank you. Thank you. Saad says, well, I just used Prisma 2 days ago. You are using Prisma. Nice. Yeah. Prisma is really nice. I like it. I don't have to, because I don't have to then learn SQL by myself. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. So we go with questions that include responses, include attendee, select ID, display, and avatar true. But I don't want to do this manually. Is there not a way to do this via Prisma Query? Writing our own JavaScript, because I don't want to do this. Okay, then I understand. Okay, interesting. This is very interesting. For an application design perspective, achieving a specific data shape directly from the database query is often less flexible and can lead to more complex queries and that are harder to maintain. Okay, this is something I agree with. It's generally good practice to keep your queries simple and to the point, fetching the data that you need, and then using the application's programming language to shape the data as required for the front end. This approach also keeps your application logic more adaptable to changes in the business logic or data requirement. That's true. That's true. Okay, so then I should not be doing very complex stuff. All right, so then let's listen to the boy. So we include questions, responses, and attendee, and then we select the ID and whatnot. So then we should have this guy gone. Let's change, or let's change this to questions, and then we had include. Oh, what happened? No, I copied the wrong thing. When you paste instead of copy. So here we should have no, I think, okay, let me write it here. So questions include, and the questions should include responses include attendee, and here we can select the ID true, display name true, and avatar URL true. Is the URL capital? No. So then I can actually remove all of this, and I think this I don't think we need it. I don't think, but we'll see, because the session by ID also is given to the others as well, but we'll look into that in just a minute. Okay, so we get the with response. Then what we should do is, let's have a look at what kind of code is written here. So grouped responses by attendee. So we got an attendee here. So session with questions and responses, and then we take the questions, we go inside, we do question.responses.each, we take out the attendee and response. We already have an object that is being taken care of. Okay, smart. Then we see if the attendee already has that or it doesn't exist, we create an object with the empty array. Fine. And then we just do push. Okay, this looks nice to me. Let's copy this, and we're gonna have to get rid of all of this. Questions, rest session. Okay, we need to do it like this, and then we can say this, and here we can say this is going to be session.questions.for each, and here we have questions taken out, but I think we can just take what was the rest of this? No, so we're taking session here, right? So here we can say session and responses, I think. No, so let's see. Actually, we should say session dot responses. So even let's take this guy out, and this should be session, and this can go ahead response array. Okay, let's see what this returns now. So compiled successfully. Good. Let's see. So if I go and try this now, yeah, a lot of things gonna break, but let's see the output for now. So here we do have questions, but we have responses here. Now we've got 4 responses. Yay, this is what we wanted. But each response has an attendee and responses. Okay, so interesting. So if you have a look here, what did we basically say? So here we have the but I also want to have a question in here as well. But we have the question here, right? And responses as well. Okay, so in this case we got responses having an attendee, id, display name, url. Then we've got responses, each response has a question and each response has a response. This one. Okay, so it actually looks good to me. I'm not really sure why do we have a crash here. So here it says review card component find. Okay, now I understand. This one is for review card, right? Okay, but then okay, so what we are rendering then is not accurate. All right, let's have a look at this. So review widget component, when we set the responses, which we do right here, not here, but yeah, session.responses. So in here, when we come here, I think this is where we mess up. So let's see. So we go to response dot question. Oh, it already crashes. We'll see. So if I go inside, the responses clone looks like this. Each one has an attendee and responses. but we don't have questions here. I think that's probably why, because we are expecting in some places that we do have those things. But anyways, so when we come to response clone, we have the one, is this 24943? Okay, and then we have the responses. Too fast. Yeah, this is my response that I did, and the question is there. Okay, so maybe let's fix the widget, the review widget thingy, because something is off. Something is off. Each response has just an attendee and a response. Okay, if we have a look at, why is this red? Because of the response is equals false. We'll see. But review widget component.html. So here, if I look at the review card, this expects an attendee having questions, not responses. That's why. And each response that we have, so we have an attendee and we have responses. Exactly, responses, and each response is a question and a response. So here we should rather rename this guy to responses, and this will fail further things. Okay, so let's do this the Vim way. So here I'm supposed to find questions, right? I hit enter. I say CIW. No. Gotta do this again. Oh, gotta do this again. So here I do this question, this CW responses. Good. Then I can do the same thing and press a dot. And there we go. And press a dot. Cool. This should make it fix. There we go. So now we should have a this dot response. Can I see what is in the this dot response? This dot response should have responses and should have question and blah blah blah. Okay, so now this should render everything. Hey, look at that. And we have too fast myself attendee, but you see we have rendered these, but now I'm going to actually set them on the reverse side. So here now you see my what is this? What is this little thing right here? Okay, I'm gonna click here so this goes away. Thank you. But do we see a flicker? That's the important question. Look at this. You see there's a flicker. It's like bro used the willpower. Yes, exactly. But I don't want the flicker. I don't want the flicker to happen, and I'm gonna actually remove this guy. Maybe I'm gonna put this here for now. Let's see. So that means in the review widget component, I can actually get rid of all of this. I wanted to do that for quite a long time now. Okay, so what's the problem? We do have the get attendee right here, but we all automatically set the session service and the responses by then. So what we should do rather is first get the attendee and then do the session, right? So what I'm gonna do now is let's do this dot get attendee instead. And then what I want to do is, no, but is it gonna work then? I'm thinking. Okay, so we do get or create attendee da da da. I'm gonna remove this guy from here. And what I want to do is I want to get the attendee, and then I want to do all of this, but I also then want to set the responses as well. So okay, so let's try to do this. I'm gonna pipe this with a merge map. This is where I should have my attendee. I want to return this guy from here, but where's the session pin? Now I don't like what I'm doing, so I'm gonna revert this and think again. Okay, so we get the session print from the URL. We want to get, we want to, I'm thinking. Okay, so the session and the attendee, they both don't have to go together. So I can actually use something called a fork join. So I can say fork join, and I want to do both things together. I want to do this dot session service dot session by pin, session pin with response is set to true. So that's my one thing, and in parallel I'm going to do the second thing, this dot get attendee, right? On the subscribe, why does this not like me? It says signature is deprecated. Please use and pass an array of sources instead. The rest parameter signature will be removed in V8, but I did use an array. What do you mean? Since that it is recommended to either pass an object or these are how to refactor fork join this and this to an array, or but this is exactly what I did. What do you mean? Okay, no, what? I have an array. What do you mean? That's super weird. I'm using a fork join. But I'm using exactly what you mentioned me to use. Pass an array of sources instead. Yeah, I have no clue. So we'll see. So in this case, then I should be saying the first one should get the session, the second one should get the attendee. I'm gonna actually put, wait, let's take this guy, put it here, and okay, so we got the session, but why is it crying? Session void. Session argument of type void observable is not assignable to type of parameter. Okay, no, I know, I understand. So this was not the one I wanted to actually return. Now I understand. This guy instead of this dot attendee p. Yeah, okay, now this makes sense. So then when I get the attendee back, then I should be doing this. If I don't have an attendee, review widget component, blah 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 blah, but then here, and when I go here, what do I do? Responses, where do the responses come from? I'm going to change the battery of my camera. Sorry, it's that also shows us that we have been here for about 1 hour. It's a good check. Okay, so we get the session, we get the attendee, right? Then what we want to do is we want to go and here, if we don't have an attendee, we remove the attendee from storage. But I don't think we're ever gonna have this situation, so I'm gonna delete that. And we want to send attendee actually, because when you get or create an attendee, you always get back an attendee. So this I can put there. But before doing that, when we do response, okay, so we set the responses right here. Okay. But I don't think we want to do that at this point. We'll not do that here. What we'll do is, or should we do it here? If we don't have an attendee, then we just set it and then we set it back. Otherwise, we need to do this. Then we do attendee.set attendee. Then we get the response index, blah blah blah, response blah. Yeah, I think this is what I want, and I'm gonna delete this guy, and I'm gonna delete all of this. Okay, let's see now. 1 hour 4 minutes. Ooh, cool. What I don't like though is, where's my UI? Did I forget to call the function at all? So we got fork join. This should make 2 calls together, right? You can see that it does. Gets the questions back and the responses back as well. Once it gets this, it checks the attendee and sets the session.responses as well to here. What am I breaking anything? I don't think so. This is good. This is good. This is not good. What's happening? What am I missing? Do we not have any UI on the UI? Do we not have a UI on the UI? Oh, the session is not set. That's why. No, but I set this session to session. Don't I? I think I do. Refresh. So I get the session, right? And I go inside here and then I see attendee is there, setting the attendee to local storage, setting the attendee to attendee, getting the attendee response index -1. Oh, so I never set the responses. You see, that's the problem. So then I also need to do this right here. So not all paths actually emit a value. P. Thank you. Now this should work. So session, blah, 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 goes there, goes there, goes there. Here it sets the responses automatically and then return. You know what? I now that I think about it, it seems like I don't even need the responses because session is a signal, right? And the responses is already there. Why don't I just use session.responses, right? Can do session.responses, right? I could do that. So why do I even have this responses review widget with the responses? I can remove this. I can also remove attendee with the response. I don't use it. I don't think I use it. Then feedbacks. I don't think I use it. Background disabled. Don't use it. Attendee. I don't think I use it. We'll see though. So this whole thing, submit feedback, I don't think I use this method as well. So I'm gonna comment this out. Saad says, man, I want to learn the debugging. I never used a debugger before. It's amazing once you get a hang of it. It becomes really easy to then use it. But yeah, definitely do practice this. My clumsy Vim fingers. This dot responses. We go there. We change to C3 E. Look at that. Then we do this dot session dot responses. No. Oh, sorry. One thing that I forgot to mention, I don't even need to do this anymore because I'm just using the session dot responses. So here I could say session dot responses responses and this dot attendee, and actually even the session this dot session, because then this dot session is always gonna there, so I don't even need this. Or do I? I do. Okay, then I don't need this. Then I need to do session dot responses. It's gonna be there, I know for sure. Then what I want to do is I want to change the session, and then I want to do this dot session dot set, or actually I could use update instead. I'll get the session back, and then I can do returns session, and responses are going to be RSP Clone. This can go back. String type of property ID are not compatible. What do you mean? What do you mean? Session null is not compatible with that. Type responses. But then I'm actually taking out review widget response. I'm actually taking out these guys as, come on, review widget response, right? Why does this not like me? Okay, so argument of type session this responses review widget ID and more are not assignable to type value. Session review widget review responses null. This is the same, but then here we are saying responses and ID and questions. Type responses blah 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 is not assignable to type responses review widget response. ID string undefined, pin string undefined, likes create questions with config undefined is not assignable to this. Types of property ID are not incompatible. Undefined is not end string or undefined. ID of what exactly? The sessions ID, do you mean? That's interesting. That's super weird. I don't know. Don't make it VW and actually VE and VE and Yunkit. So what I don't really like is this, right? The problem is I don't know. Okay, let's see. Session blah blah blah. Okay, so what I don't see right now is this guy. This should be here. Why isn't it there? If I look at locally, I have the PC user, the attendee. My attendee is 943. Is my ID. So if I look at this guy right here, let's see. When I come here, I assign the session, right? What happened to this? Come back. Okay, why am I in this file again? Let's see here, let's see here, let's see here, let's see here, let's see here. So when I refresh, I try to go here. What? Come here. Why is it okay? I have this weird little condition here, of course. And is that also because, no, that was not. I thought that might be because of that problem. Okay, let's see now. So come here. So we got the attendee. We go there. We get the attendee response index. We got the index 2. Set that. Did this. Moved forward, and updated the session. Look at that. Now we don't have any flicker. But what I want to do is I want to also have an edit button on this editor. And I also want to show that a bit differently, to be honest. So what I want to do is also want to get rid of the unused thingy. Is everything still good? Yes, it is. So what I want to do is pulse checker review card. I'm going to pass the response, but then also attendee, which I am right now, right? So this attendee, the review card, is going to also have attendee is supposed to be an input review widget. No, this should be actually an attendee from Prisma client. Should it be null ever? When I'm going to the review page, it's going to create it automatically. So I don't think it should be null, but I'll still keep this like this. So if I then go here, I can pass the attendee to the attendee. And what is the attendee right here? So it's attendee or null, right? So that's good. So then if I go here, say attendee signal. If I go here, I can say attendee, which is supposed to be input right here. But then why is this red? Property type null is not assignable to type get result blah 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 blah. Oh, is this because attendee can be null also? Aha, okay. But can this ever be null? I think it can be. I don't think it can be actually. So if I don't provide anything here, can I do this? No, I don't think so, right? Oh, because I'm already assigning, but this now needs a value. The initial value is not provided. If I say null, then it's gonna still be null. Yeah, then I need to put this back again. Okay, so that means that this guy can basically come here and say attendee would be or could be null, right? And I think this should make this happy. Of course, it does. Then what I can do is in the review card, what I can do is we have this section and we have the article, right? So if I go GG and VG, then I can do equals. This div is not still nicely formatted, but I think I'm okay with that. With the pace, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have the pace right here. I'm gonna remove that. What I want to have is in the section, or if I look at this correctly, the SVG here is the current color. Why do we have a SVG here? What does this SVG do? Oh, this is the profile icon. Okay, never mind. So then we have this guy right here. So what I can do is I can have a button, an edit button. Do I have pencil anywhere? Do I have edit anywhere? And do I have that inside any of the HTML files? Yeah, edit session, edit here. But then do I have the icon anywhere at all? So this one, what is this one? Oh, so I'm using SVGs all the time. Okay. I could go and say review card, to be honest. So here I could say review or edit review. So for example, if I go here, I could say, for example, let's call this guy relative. And then here we can actually say a button which says edit review. There we go. But this guy actually only shows up when we have an attendee, and attendee.id equals the response dot attendee.id. Does that make sense? And the attendee.id. So if we have that thing right here, then I'm supposed to have that button. And ta-da! Now we have this right here. So I'm gonna actually bring it here so you see that. So we got the edit review button right here. And what I want to do actually is to have the same button as create session.component.html. So we should have a session form, and we should have the HTML containing the button. I'm gonna actually copy this guy. I'm gonna go and paste this right here. Why do I have a bracket right here? Because of the if. Like, why do I have a bracket right here? That makes perfect sense. So here we should call this edit review. And let's get rid of this guy. Doesn't look good. Does not look good at all. Width full. You need to go away. And thank you. Not really. Where's the height? Or is it because of flex? So height or max. Thank you. But then can I also, since we are talking about a flex thingy, which is inside the article, right? It should be items center. I don't like it. I don't like it because this goes at the bottom. So I need to put this back. Maybe I can do items start, but then for this guy, I can say place item something, place item start. Place items start. No, center. Or is place self center? Yeah, self center. Yeah, there you go. So we got an edit review here, and I think what it should do is it should just go to the page. So what we can do is we can say router link, and this means that I would now have to go here, go to the imports, and here I can say router link. Isn't it route link? Router link, right? Exactly. So go here, and then I think I can do what? Is it supposed to be session? And what is the ID? Session/session.pin, right? So here, or would I have to then say session, or do I put an emitter here? Because otherwise then I would also have to pass the I think I'm gonna just click and emit, but I also want to not have this input not required. I'm gonna have to say in required session, and since I am not passing a session, it should cry right here, and then I should be able to say session. There you go. It's going to be there always. And then I can say right here session dat, because this should be just session and session dot id. All right, time for the truth. So if I click this, which route is it trying to go? Session slash to the slash and id. That's my bad. I was actually on the wrong one. So this should not be session id. This should be the session pin. So if I click it now, yay, you go to the session review. Awesome, but the problem is it should not do that. This should actually result in a click, or it should have, first of all, this should be an anchor. Show me an anchor. Thank you. Second, it should have an href that should have a target, blank, and rel, no opener, no referrer. So ideally this should just go and do this. There we go. Okay, not too bad, right? It's too fast myself as attendee. So if I go here, I change this to too fast, too furious, submit this guy, come back here, refresh. There we go. I think this is good. I think this is awesome. So instead of having really complex conditions and complex UI UX, we kept it simple. If you want to edit something, you go and edit it. Yeah, but this one does show for ratings. This is somewhat not good, because we do have, I mean, we do show our comment, right? For anything that is signal based, we don't really show that for now, but we will. I think we will have to make it somehow. We'll see. We have two problems right now. One, there's no way to change the name of the user. It's always anonymous. The second problem is we are not really showing anything with the signals. So we can only have stars, and we can have comment. Only those two things. Time is it? Okay. Getting a bit late. But if I go here, I should be able to see this. So all of these are pretty nice. But I don't have my own feedback here. Should it also allow the user to delete their feedback as well? I think it should. But then should we be using edit or yeah, I don't know. I think we could maybe then keep it simple. So edit review, edit or delete. And then I could also, maybe we should also have it here somewhere as well, like delete your review. But let's put that in the project. So I'm going to go to GitHub, SNIAS, Pulse Checker. And let's go to issues. I also need to do this as well. But let's go to the project and at least let's add those things. So individual feedback. I think this one is probably ready to be done. So allowing the user to delete their feedback. And I should probably make this 3090, but smaller. Okay, so allowing the user to delete their feedback. It's one thing that we can do. Feedback response. Where did this go? Okay, here it is. And the other one that we want to do is allowing the user to change their name in the feedback. That we should do. And then showing signal base or showing signal questions in the review card. Okay, so these are some of those which we will have to do at some point. But for now, I think this looks good. So we can at least start with this. Okay, we'll see. But for now, we have this at least working for us. So we can quickly push this, launch JSON. This was completely a waste of time. We did change some things here. That's fine. Let it go. User ID. Yeah, we're creating that. With the responses, now this is something I wanted to do. So the find first requires, now this is basically going it with regard to the value passed. What if I go this, then it should show me the right one. So Prisma session find first arguments default args. This is what we are talking about here. So this should be this, and the default args should come from this, right? Now what I want to do is I want to include questions. Actually, cut it. So include questions true. This is my default one, right? But if with responses is true, then I want to say params dot include dot questions equals this guy. And this is what I want. Smooth. So, right? But what is this? Isn't it responses? What happened? What happened to this? What did I change? So params is past that. Then we got session. But the session should contain questions. Prince Tubil, first of all, welcome here. Secondly, can I make an inventory and sales management system using Angular, Nest, Supabase, and Postgres? Yes, you can. Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. Do you have any particular thing that you think can prevent you from doing that? But this should actually be sessions. This should be something that should have session and questions of type question. But I want to say question including, okay, I want to search it now. Prisma define variable type based on Prisma Query object. Exactly. So Prisma.userSelect. But what I want to see is what I get back. Is it? I think it's something like get result or something, right? So here it should be what it returns. So find first returns session client. What? Okay. But this is find first, right? Okay. But this find first should return us back session with no, I think that's going to be a bit tricky then. When I look at this, the questions here are not there. So we have a get result that contains session and other things as well. But why does it not really but should it not? If we do find first with the type of params, but the params may or may not include it. But shouldn't then, okay, in the case of then, if that's the case, then shouldn't, then we can go the other way around, right? We can say we facilitate this whole thing first, and then we remove it if necessary. So I'm gonna actually yank this guy, put a P here, right? And what I want to do is what I want to do is, if there's no responses, then I'm just going to turn this into true. I'm not really sure if even if it would allow it to me, right? But then I can actually get rid of these maybe. Oh, as you can see, this doesn't like it. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know anymore now. What is the good way of doing this? Because this automatically then becomes the that it has questions, that has a response, as an ND. So yeah, and get result. I don't know. I don't know what's a good way to do this. Okay, let me maybe ask ChatGPT if it knows. So if I look at this, want to go with true here, but then this guy needs to go away. If I put this code, copy, let's see. We're getting an error that questions doesn't exist on session the for each. This is Prisma, of course, and the following is the code. How can I type correctly the response from the find first method? Now, do I have to create my own detailed thingy? Hmm. Hmm. Callback hell. Dadi vlogs. No, I'm not really using callback hells at all. I have one single level of an async function. So yeah, this is an async function. Everything is awaiting. Just have a for each right here, and we can replace that with for as well, but there's no further callback in this. Okay, so hmm. Okay, then I'll give it a type, because I did not really want to do this, but I think I will have to. These are the parts where I stop liking TypeScript. But this session needs to come from Prisma client, right? And then these responses need to come from there as well. But do we have no? We have questions, right? Exactly. So we actually have questions, which are an array of question and response. So this is what we have. And let's quickly import this guy. Let's import this guy. And then we have the session. Am I missing anything? No. And this one now cries about property questions is missing in type. What do we get from that, do you mean? No, but we are including questions, so this should. Oh, yeah. Um, yeah, so I should basically have this guy replaced this guy and this guy becoming true. If not, with the responses. The session, however, doesn't like me. So then I'm not really sure then. If I go with this, right? And then I take the type. Okay, now it's not getting it. Prince Tubal said, did you try to develop an Android app using React Native and Laravel as a backend, sir? Not with Laravel, but I've worked with React Native, yes. Quite a few times. So when we do find first, is it possible to also define the type? Let's see if I can define the type. So type session response equals session and questions of type array of question and then I can copy this guy and then paste this, right? And then if I do this, then I can probably and we go and we then go this as resp type. What was the type of it? Was it session response? Okay, finally. Then we can go here and see if everything still works. Yes, it does. Let's take the session service. Ensure we have not put anything that is not really good. Seems okay. Let's go to session component. Blah, blah, blah. We fixed that one. Got review widget. I don't think I need this at all now. So I'm going to also see the component file if there's something we can remove. Submitting feedback. Not going to need it. Feedback service. I don't really think even this is needed. So because we are just using a presentational component, right? So this can go away. Session service, we need that. User service, we need that. Route, I don't really think we need the activated route. We don't need snack bar. Oh, we need route, sorry. We need to get it from the snapshot. Do we use snack bar? No. Session attendee is fine. Okay, so we got the review widget. Let's quickly put it to use. Removed a lot of stuff. Good. Keeping things simple. Response, blah, blah, blah. This looks nice. Removed that. Removed a lot of code from here. Get a create attendee. This looks nice. Review card component. Yeah, about this one, I think this needs to be looked into. If I go and say format document, now this is working. Why did it not work before? Anyways, so this then goes in here. Review card component. Da 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 da. And then we got this one. Cool. Okay. So if I do git add, git commit, feed session, or actually review widget, implement reviews per new format, fixed the review. Sorry, I'm gonna bring this a bit up. I'm gonna also remove this guy. It seems like it's cutting from down. So I'm gonna pull this up right here. Yeah, there we go. So fix the review or view widget component, the new responses format, added possibility to go to edit the review, updated the attendee logic to attendee existing, connected the attendee to user. I think that's good enough. Okay, good. Let's check something quickly. Chalo ji. So let's see if we can preview everything working. So dashboard, pulse checker. So this is going to be building now since we have pushed a new release, but we should have at least this available in production as well quite soon. We'll see. All because you didn't chat GPT. Okay, let's see. So this is, did we change anything in the backend? I think we did, right? We made a bunch of changes in the backend, but in the front end as well, it should go to log in. We should have our deployments going in as well. C deploys. Okay, so this is good. This should also go in. We should be able to then, able to see this working. Good, awesome. But then we can take it from there. I also have to do a lot of cleanup in Notion and the things that I need to work on. We'll see when the time comes. Publishing the app. Okay, so this should be live in just about a minute. We should be good. Once this is done, what I want to do is to create a particular what do you call it, particular session for all of my recipes in the book. And once I'm done doing that, then I can add that as a review to all the recipes. That's the goal. So we are going to look into that quite soon. Let's see if I can pushing. And this is about 1.47 gigabytes of the image. Interesting. Okay, we'll let it deploy. Let's also have a look at how the Angular Cookbook is doing. Did we get any more reviews? We got 5 ratings and everyone says 5 stars. It's a great book, even for beginners. Nice. Oh, I know Muzammil. What is a verified purchase? Paid a price. That sounds funny. The reviewer bought or used them on Amazon and paid a price to do so. They were made to pay a price. It's deployed. Thank you so much. Now I should be able to do the same thing on production. So let's see. Let's see if everything still works. Better open the debugger right there. Ooh, there we go. So test meetup. That's not good. Service is temporarily unavailable. Why? That's better. So we got all the previews. We should be able to get we should show a loader. Why do we have this view? This is super weird. I think there's a bug that caused this. So maybe we can add that bug. The dashboard does not show a loader while loading the sessions. We'll fix that. Let's convert this into an issue, pulse checker, and we can fix that quite soon. Okay, so then I'll go to test meetup. No, I was already there. Maybe let's just copy this thingy. And what I want to do is I want to go to the page, and here I want to say review widget, and that's the ID. Alrighty, there we go. You can see not only we have this thing right here, but we can also see the edit button, and if we click it, we go here. And you know what the fun part is? What I want to do in the long run is to have something like this. I want to go to my Angular Cookbook and I want to embed something, not Angular Cookbook, but the recipes. So I want to do something like this. So I want to go just below this, edit as HTML. And then just below this, I want to create an iframe. I'm going to give it a source. And what I want to do is kind of give this a width of 400, height 500, and yeah, just want to do that. So when I do this, see what happens. Hey, look at that. So we probably gave this a bit more width than it required. Maybe we should not. Maybe we should say width 100%. Yeah, let's do that. So that is the goal. That is the idea. So having something like this, and you can see like all the reviews that we have. However, one thing that I do see is using the iframe, I don't really see the edit button. So test 1 2 3, too fast too furious is the one that I've got in here, right? If I look at the page that I was just on, this one, this is right here. So it doesn't really reload frame. It doesn't really pick that when you look at that. And I wonder why. Can I inspect that? So if I look at this guy right here, which is right here, it doesn't really pick the reviews or allows you to do that. And that is a bit tricky. That is gonna be tricky. How do we solve that? And the reason could primarily be that we don't have the access to the local storage. So here you can see we don't have anything at all. If I go to the same one, and if I try to do this here, the application, you see that I have the PC attendee. I do have the other things right here as well. I'm gonna see the attendee is 943. The attendee ID here is also 943. So this is okay, but then should I be using cookies instead of, or would I have to keep this session on the back end? Because this is going to be a challenge then. What are we going to do? Background services, push messaging. My camera died, but don't worry about that. Okay, let's do a bit googling, but then I'm gonna probably go off. So why do we don't? Okay, so if I needed to share this, okay, let's try to search that. So iframe not able to load values. Local storage is not visible in iframe. How do I make it work for every client? Obviously. Mm. But I can I allow the partitioning to say I do want to use it? Because okay, so iframe example.com, iframe was on example.com. Okay, this one is b.com site, acom site, bcom site, and then iframe was there. So you could set it on one and get it on the other one. Before setting partitioning, you can share data. After, you have example.com, which is, or a.com, sets it, b.com returns and define. But if you have partitioned example.com plus b.com, then you can do it. Interesting. Okay, go to systems. I was thinking for more going into the post. What I was thinking was maybe using the post message API to do this, but okay. So how can I test this? Explanation: this demo uses two sites A and B. When you visit the site A, the top level context, it sets the data using various storage methods. Site B embeds a page from site A that embed attempts to read storage previously. When site A is embedded on site B, it doesn't have access to the data partition, so it reads fail. The demo uses success failure each. But the problem is I am not really able to see the iframe even doesn't access its own local storage. If you understand what I mean. I don't really want to share local storage. I'm curious, why is my app not able to use its own local storage inside that? That makes any sense at all. It could also be that I'm trying to access it when I'm not logged in, and it's just my brain being stupid. So if I log out, right, and if I try to do it now, it still gives me that, which is even bad. Because if I then try to go, because when I log out, I would actually imagine all of this to remove, but it did not. So if I refresh now, yeah, that's also a problem. We need to fix that. But I want to go to the GitHub thing again. So this is still should be there, right? We got the PC user, we got this guy, we click edit, we go there. Error joining the session, that's interesting. Why? 500, interesting. What in the hell? Okay, if I look at my application and if I see PC user, it is having the attendee 943. It has the same user. But if I go and review the logs, okay, let's see. I'm gonna refresh. Was supposed to go off. So this one cannot read property of undefined for each. And I'm assuming this is coming from the review widget thingy. And it only breaks on the session. Oh, oh, that's not good. For each, so I'm using, no, I'm using the session controller create feedback DTO. Not that's not the one. I think it's failing right here. So session might not have, no, how is it possible then? Is it, that's weird. That's weird. Anyways, I think the problem then is still gonna be here. Oh, we do have a problem right here. Damn. Npm run serve web. But we have a problem right here. Why didn't I see that before? So shouldn't this be breaking? It is breaking. Come on. So where is this? For each PCB main.js. I think this is coming from the, where is this coming from? Cannot read properties of undefined for each. Files to include PCBE, create feedback DTO. This is the session questions for each, and then question.responses dot for each. But then the backend has never really sent anything at all in that case, if this was not even building, if that makes any sense. So if I go and console dot session, are there any breakpoints anywhere? No, not really. So then now this is being combined successfully, but I had a review and error joining the session, but I don't see the log here. Why are there no logs? Internal server error. This one is going to where? Session by, oh, okay, so here now I can see it. But where is the log? Okay, so here we have a session that has questions, but the questions may or may not have responses, right? Because, okay, yeah, in this case. But here we could have responses for each. Yeah. And in here also, I think, I'm now thinking actually. So we have the responses array. Okay, let's have a look. So in the case where we do have, in the case where we don't have the with responses, right? So if we don't have with responses, if not with responses, we should just return the session. That's what should happen. We should not have all these signs that we have put there. So if I refresh now, there we go. This should be working. So what I want to do now is to push this fix and remove this guy from existence. And I don't even need this in that case, right? Let's quickly add that. Let's quickly close this, git add, git commit, fix, session, or PCBE, fix, session by pin API, the response according to with responses flag correctly and then push it. In either case, this review page should still be working. So this review page should still be working, I assume, right? And we also get the edit here. What I'm not really sure is why don't we get this guy? Or okay, the app not using local storage when used as iframe. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. But I don't really want to look into subdomains. I want to see why. Want to see the iframe usage. Hmm. What is this? Storage access API. But I don't want to look into cookies. What I'm still not sure is, shouldn't it be possible for an iframe to access the local storage? Okay, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT as well. When running the site in an iframe, the app seems to not be to itself. For example, the app is deployed on when embedded as an iframe, it can't seem to access its own local storage. And when checking via Chrome DevTools as well. Looking at the other Chrome tab. Why is that? But the problem is the data already exists in the browser. Let's see if this is fixed at all. No, I think it's still deploying. Okay, this is fixed. Good. I don't know. I have no clue now. Because if I start embedding this, then it becomes a problem. And this was supposed to be the solution. Okay, let's have a look. So if I look at the whole thing, which is this guy maybe. So if I edit as an HTML, add an iframe here, give it a source of this guy, and go out. So this guy right now, page source. Then I might have to give the opportunity to then log in from this page as well if they want to give their own feedback. That's going to be interesting. But this can at least show the feedback, which is okay. But I think when in an iframe, this needs, yeah, this needs to have you log in, and then you could take it from there, I think. Let's try one thing. Let's try something. So if I go here and then I change this guy, this whole thingy, to this, right? Now I should be able to log in, right? Now, if I now go to the review thingy, would I be able to do that? If I change this as an HTML and then do this, in the context of the iframe, would I be able to render it? Or no? User created, failed to load the server. Interesting. If I edit this as HTML and copy this, let's refresh. Inspect this guy, check this guy, hit enter, come here. Okay, now once I've logged in, now it can see that, because now if I inspect this and go to the application, now I can see that. So it has never been into the third party place, right? What if I, so if I refresh here, it should log out. But if I reload this frame, should still keep it. Okay, so now I understand. So it's not a matter of that then. So I should be able to still, if I click edit, I should be able to see that. Too fast, too furious with 3. I hit submit, I reload the iframe. It should come with a 3. Okay, good. Good. Okay, I'll leave it at that then. Alrighty. Thank you everyone who joined. This was fun. A bit too much as well at times. But we managed to do it. We managed to do good progress. So I'm gonna stop right here. And I'll see you later when I'll see you. Thank you for joining. Have a good one.